Good afternoon, thanks for tuning in to Kalkine TV. James Preston with you live from Sydney for The Buzzing Trends, a show that brings you the emerging trends driving the market momentum and the related stocks under the spotlight. In this special edition of The Buzzing Trends, we'll be focusing squarely on the IPO space, including taking a look at a number of enticing upcoming IPOs and the opportunities that exist for investors. Let's begin with a quick backdrop of market trends to start the day. Market uncertainties continue to mount due to COVID-19 related virus woes, crypto volatility and monetary policy concerns. And inflation anxiety and economic sustainability are also denting the market sentiments. With all that said, careful exposure to potentially profitable IPOs has still rewarded good returns to their investors. Companies are racing to public markets like never before, cashing in on record high stock prices. An all-time high of almost $350 billion has been raised in initial public offerings in the first 6 months of this year to date. That's according to data compiled by Bloomberg. The numbers have surpassed the previous peak of $282 billion from the second half of 2020. While last year we saw several tech companies taking the IPO route, this year we can see a mixed bag of miners, financial players, healthcare entities and more. The busy month of July continues to see a surge in IPO activity. As many as 6 companies are expected to debut on the Australian Securities Exchange next week. In the first fortnight of July, more than 20 companies have already started trading on the ASX, including some big names like Erison Group, 29 Metals, Bluebet Holdings and also PEXA Group. Other players such as Allmont Industries, BCAL Diagnostics, Noble Oak Life, OpenNegotiations, Victory Goldfields, Western Mines Group and Western Gold Resources are slated to list on the ASX next week. So let's now get acquainted with each and every one of them. First on the list is Western Gold Resources. The Western Australian focused gold explorer is set to list on the ASX on the 19th of July under the ticker name WGR. The company has successfully raised $7 million by issuing 35 million shares at an offer price of 20 cents apiece. The IPO received strong demand from cornerstone and institutional investors. The funds raised by the company will help it to continue to focus its efforts on its Wiluna West iron ore project, which continues to deliver revenue from its C4 iron ore deposit. Second on the list is BCAL Diagnostics. The breast cancer detection company is expected to list its shares on the domestic exchange on July 19 under the ticker name BDX. Earlier, it was scheduled to list on July 16, but it was postponed due to undisclosed reasons. The biotechnology company proposed raising $8 million at 25 cents a share via its IPO. The company is expected to have a market capitalisation of $49.7 million at the time of its listing, implying an enterprise valuation of $41.7 million. Ahead of listing, the company had raised $4 million in pre-IPO capital raising to fund trials of its breast cancer blood test. Time now for a very short break on the Buzzing Trends. In just a moment, we continue the deep dive into our new IPOs for next week on Kalkine TV.
Hi, this is Andy Liu broadcasting from Kalkine Media Studio in Australia, and I'll be hosting the new Kalkine Wellness Show. The half-hour show will cover topics from how wellness as a concept has become even more significant during COVID, to how becoming vegan may improve your health and much more. We are excited to showcase our live streaming show to our audience of millions overseas and in Australia. Tune in to Kalkine TV and join me.
As the world navigates through the COVID-19 crisis, innovation and digital transformation are helping us ride through the pandemic woes, learn how to think differently, ignite, manage and sustain in an uncertain world from the leaders in innovation. Mark your calendars for an insightful discussion with CEO and founder of Space Talk, Mr. Mark Fortunato, and co-founder and CEO of Early Birds, Mr. Chris Poria, in Kalkine Media's exclusive Invest Nest webinar on July 23rd, 2021 at 12:30 Australian Eastern Standard Time. Our client, Space Talk, is a technology company that is all about keeping families confidently connected through Australian-designed wearable devices. It offers stylish, standalone mobile phones built into a smartwatch for kids as well as adults. While Early Birds, also our client, is a B2B platform that is helping organisations to transform with actionable innovation by connecting innovators and early adopters based on industry, business function and expected outcomes. So, it is time to get some valuable insights from these stalwarts, making a unique position in terms of innovation. Block your seats now and enter the future of revolution with Kalkine Media.
Hello and welcome back. James Preston with you, and you're watching The Buzzing Trends, where we're discussing hot IPOs eyed by the market participants for the next week. However, it is important to note that the date and offer price may change subject to market conditions. Let's have a look at the next company. The market is also keenly eyeing the IPO of Western Mines Group. The mineral exploration company is likely to commence trading on the ASX on July 20 with the name WMG. The company is attempting to raise $5.5 million by issuing shares at an offer price of 20 cents apiece. The IPO proceeds will be used to create significant shareholder wealth by exploring and discovering high-value gold and battery metal deposits across a portfolio of highly prospective projects located in Western Australia. Moving on to the fourth IPO on our list, and Allmont Industries is presenting an intriguing IPO for next week. The global mining company is expected to be listed on the ASX on July 20 under the ticker name ALL. The company looks to raise $13.5 million by the issue of CHESS depository interests over fully paid ordinary shares at an offer price of $1 per share. The company, focused on tungsten mining and exploration, is already listed on the Toronto Stock Exchange. Allmont intends to use fund proceeds to finance the construction and completion of the Sangdong tungsten mine in Gangwon province in South Korea. Also, Noble Oak Life is another IPO under the investors' radar for next week. The life insurer is expected to debut on the domestic bourse on July 21 with the security code NOL. The company proposed raising $62.2 million by issuing shares at an offer price of $1.95 apiece. As per the IPO prospectus, the company will use fund proceeds to expand its shareholder base, provide a liquid market for its shares, and improve its brand profile. Moving on, and OpenNegotiations is under the spotlight for its upcoming IPO plans. The Australian property technology company is set to commence trading publicly on the ASX on July 21 under the ticker code OPN. The company, which operates a property technology business through its subsidiary, is eyeing to raise $9 million by issuing 45 million shares at an offer price of 20 cents apiece. Founded in Perth in 2016 by a group of experienced property professionals, the company provides a proprietary cloud-based software platform for the transparent negotiation and sale of residential properties. It provides a real-time online bidding process to achieve a property market value through competitive price tension. And now it's time for a short break, but stay tuned with us as we'll have a look at the final interesting upcoming IPO for next week on the ASX, and I'll also give you a few tips on how you can capitalise on their arrival. Thanks for sticking with us. Great to have your company for the buzzing trends. And in this special edition of the show, we're taking a look at some hot IPOs arriving to market next week. Time now to take a look at our seventh and last to hit the ASX for next week. Victory Goldfields is gearing up for a July 22 listing, with the mining exploration company launching an IPO to raise $5 million by issuing shares at 20 cents a piece. The company plans to trade with the tag of 1VG. Previously known as Hughes Drilling, the company is focused on gold exploration and has a portfolio of underexplored tenements in the Kew Goldfields of Western Australia. Well, next week will be critical to evaluate the performance of these IPO companies, but please note that these listing dates are subject to change upon the company's discretion. And just before we wrap up, here's a few tips about how you can make the most from the IPOs we've discussed in the show so far. While investing in an IPO is often an easy way to make money in a short time, there are various factors that you need to consider before buying a company's shares. Here are some key points to consider before investing in any IPO. Firstly, before investing in an IPO, you must check the credibility and the track record of the company. This includes the view of an analyst, brokerage ratings, industry outlook, financial performance, and of course, peer reviews. Investors must also analyse a company's market potential and its products in order to determine its future outlook in a given business environment. Financial performance is one of the critical elements to evaluate how well a company can use its assets to generate a positive return. It's of course subjective in terms of its measurement of a company's assets, liabilities, equity, expenses, revenue, and overall profitability, which gauge the financial health of a company. And lastly, the offer price of an IPO is also an important aspect to consider before investing in new shares. It's the per share value at which shares are issued to the public before starting their actual trading at a stock exchange. An investor must evaluate if the offer price meets their investment criteria. All right, well, that's all for this special episode of The Buzzing Trends. Good luck with your IPO investing, and if you'd like any further information into the space, just head across to kalkinemedia.com. I'm James Preston for Kalkine TV.